My ex-wife took the house, the kids, and even froze my bank account with a legal trick. She thought she'd destroyed me, but I turned that rock bottom into the beginning of my comeback. Hello, Reddit I Plus here. My name's Daniel Cruz. I was 38 years old when my entire world collapsed. One night, I was curled up in the back seat of my 2006 Honda Civic, parked on the far edge of a Target parking lot just outside of Denver. That little car had become my home after my divorce had gutted me, not just emotionally, financially too. My ex-wife, Lena, was ruthless. With the help of a sharp-tongued lawyer and a judge who seemed to believe every word she said, she walked away with the house, primary custody of our 2 kids, and even managed to freeze my accounts with some loophole. It was like watching someone set fire to the life I had spent years building, and being forced to smile while the flames consumed everything. I hadn't eaten in 3 days. The only money I had left was $3.47, and I kept it in my pocket like a sacred relic. Not for food, but for gas. I had a job interview the next morning, and if I couldn't make it there, then everything else would stay broken. The Civic smelled like fast food wrappers, sweat, and regret. The seats were stiff, the air stale. I kept wondering if maybe it'd be easier to just drive it off one of the overpasses and end it. That's when I heard it. A knock on my window. I jolted awake, my heart racing. For a second I thought it was security coming to kick me out, maybe even the cops. My breath caught in my throat, but when I sat up and squinted through the glass, I saw her. She was standing there under the dim orange parking lot light, holding a grocery bag in one hand. She must have been in her early 70s. Her coat was frayed at the edges, her scarf patched up in places. Her face, well, it was a roadmap of years, weathered by time, but her eyes had the kind of softness you don't forget. I cracked the window an inch, just enough to speak. Can I help you?" I asked, half expecting her to scold me. Instead, she smiled, small and gentle. "Honey, I've seen you here the past few nights," she said in a voice that was warm, tired, but kind. "I work the night shift inside. Every time I leave, I see your car parked in the same spot. You look like you could use a friend." Before I could respond, she slipped the bag through the crack in the window. "Here," she said. I looked inside. There was a rotisserie chicken, a loaf of bread, an apple, and a thermos of coffee. My throat tightened. Nestled at the bottom was a small white envelope. She touched my hand lightly through the glass. "I've been where you are, sweetheart. Rock bottom. It shows you who you really are and who really cares. You're not alone." And just like that, she turned and walked to her car, a beat-up old Honda that looked even more tired than mine. Within moments, she was gone into the night. My hands were shaking as I opened the envelope. Inside was $50 in cash and a handwritten note that simply said, "For gas, for food, for hope, Mary." That was it. No phone number, no address, no expectation, just kindness. And I broke down right there. I sobbed so hard the windows fogged up, because in that moment, a stranger had given me more compassion than my own blood family had in months. The next morning, I used that gas money to make it to my interview. I hadn't shaved. I was wearing the same wrinkled shirt for the 3rd day in a row, but I showed up. I fought through the nerves, through the exhaustion, and somehow I got the job. 6 months later, I had a small apartment. Nothing fancy, just a 1-bedroom with peeling paint and a leaky faucet, but it was mine. I had food in my fridge, clean sheets on my bed, and a little cash in my bank account. And tucked inside my wallet was Mary's note. Every time I felt beaten down, I'd unfold it, and every time I swear I could almost smell that coffee again, feel the warmth of her hand on mine. 2 years later, I was finally stable. I had rebuilt my life brick by brick. One day, I pulled out that note and I knew it was time. Time to find Mary, to thank her properly, to repay her. I went back to that same Target and asked around, "Do you know a woman named Mary? She used to work nights here." The younger employees shrugged, but one older cashier's eyes lit up. "You mean Mary Whitaker?" she asked. "She retired last year. Lives over on Maple Street, I think." I tracked her down. When I knocked on her door, she opened it slowly. Her hair was grayer now, her steps slower, but those same kind eyes met mine. "You probably don't remember me," I began, holding up the note like a badge. "But 2 years ago, you gave me this. You fed me when I was starving. You saved me when I was ready to give up. And I'm here to tell you, I made it. I got back on my feet, because of you." Her lips trembled, her eyes welled up. "Oh, honey," she whispered, pulling me into a hug that felt like home. I handed her an envelope, this time with $5,000 in cash. "It's not nearly enough," I said, my voice shaking. "But it's a start." She smiled, shook her head. "I didn't do it expecting anything back," she said softly. "I did it because someone once did the same for me." That night, as I walked back to my car, I realized something. Sometimes angels don't have wings. Sometimes they're just people in worn coats with tired eyes, doing small things that keep strangers alive. And because of Mary, I now make it my mission to do the same. Every year, I help someone who's struggling, quietly, just like she helped me. Because one act of kindness doesn't just change a night, it changes a life. Over the next few years, my life took turns I never expected. The job I had gotten after Mary's act of kindness wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. I worked in logistics for a small company, started saving, and eventually invested in my own business, a freight brokerage firm. With long nights, sacrifice, and an iron will, it grew. By the time I was 43, I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was thriving. I had a comfortable home, money in the bank, and most importantly, my dignity back. But success attracts shadows. One evening, I got a letter in the mail from a law firm. My ex-wife, Lena, was suing me. She had heard through mutual acquaintances that I was doing well financially. Suddenly, she claimed that during our marriage I had hidden assets, that I had cheated her out of equitable property, and that I owed her a substantial settlement. She even pushed for more child support, despite the fact that I had already been paying faithfully, even when it nearly broke me. When I read those words, my blood boiled. This was the same woman who had left me with nothing, who watched me starve and sleep in a car, and now, when I was finally standing tall, she wanted another piece. The court battle dragged on for months. Lena showed up each hearing with crocodile tears, painting me as some secret millionaire who had tricked her. Her lawyer tried every trick in the book, but what she didn't know was this. I had learned from rock bottom. This time, I had everything documented. Bank records, tax returns, receipts. My lawyer shredded her arguments one by one, exposing her claims as nothing more than greed wrapped in lies. During one hearing, Lena looked at me across the courtroom and whispered, just loud enough for me to hear, "You owe me this. You wouldn't even be standing here if it weren't for me." I just smiled, because I knew the truth. I wasn't standing there because of her. I was standing there because of Mary. In the end, the judge dismissed her case entirely. Not only did she get nothing, but the court ordered her to pay a portion of my legal fees for wasting everyone's time. Watching her face twist in disbelief was a moment of closure I didn't even know I needed. After court, she tried one more time. She cornered me in the parking lot, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Daniel, please, we can start over. The kids are older now. We can make this work again. I was just angry before, we can fix it." For a second, the old pain tugged at me. But then I remembered those nights in the Civic, the hunger, the hopelessness, and how she had left me in it, without a second thought. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "No, Lena, I already rebuilt my life once. I'm not tearing it down again." And with that, I walked away. That night, I took out Mary's note again. The edges were worn, the ink slightly faded, but the words were still clear. For gas, for food, for hope. I realized then that the best revenge wasn't destroying Lena in court. It wasn't proving her wrong. It was this: living well, moving on, and carrying forward the kindness that saved me when no one else cared. And that's exactly what I did.